Welcome back to my workshop. Now today's project is for the workshop. What I'm going to be doing is making a roller cabinet for my lasers to sit on. Okay, so now I've got two lasers. I've got one here, I've got one over there. What I want to do is have one so it's permanently fixed in place and one on a shelf underneath and in some drawers underneath. I've already attempted this project once and it failed miserably, and I'll show you why later on. Okay, but for now I'll show you the space I've got and I'll show you what I'm going to make it out of. Right, so for those that know my workshop, okay, we've got the garage door down this end and up that end is where I want to put my new lasers. Okay, so if we go down here, I've had a bit of a tidy up and I've managed to free up this space here. Okay, now this is about 1 meter wide and I need it 1 meter wide because my laser is going to grow. That's a different video. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken this big pile of rubbish that was here. It's now in these two cabinets and I've had a bit of a tidy up here, got rid of all the cabinets that are up here. That's where it's going to go, and it's going to be a very similar design to this one, probably a bit tidier, because what happens is this is my CNC machine. At the minute I dump my other laser on here and I can't use it while it's here, and then it turns into a bit of a dumping ground for all my other stuff. Okay, so I need a dedicated space for my lasers. Yeah, so what I want to do is show you what I'm going to build. Let's go over to the design studio. Right, so here we are at the design studio. I've already previously drawn this because, as I say, I've attempted this project before. Now it's going to be a large cabinet, so this is 1 meter wide, so that's this wide, okay, quite wide, and almost 1 meter tall as well. Okay, and it's going to have 3 drawers at the bottom-ish, that can change. I'm going to have a space at the top here for my second laser, which will be able to pull out and I can take it to the bench or somewhere else. And then I'm going to have my long laser at the top. Okay, that's the basic design. So let's have a look at the materials I'm going to make it out of. So this is the material I'm going to use. It's 18mm ply, hardwood ply. Now previously I managed to get 2 sheets of MDF. I got it at a massive bargain and I built the project with MDF. Then it collapsed and I'll show you why in a second. But this is what I'm going to be using for this bit of the project. Hopefully I'll get the main carcass made out of this and then make up the drawers as I go along. Okay. Now let me show you why you need to use ply instead of MDF. Okay, so this is from when I previously built it. What I did is I used pocket hole joinery, okay, which was working okay, but this is MDF, okay, this is 18mm MDF. Now the problem with this is I hadn't finished making the project, so it was still a little bit fragile, and I moved it. And what happens with MDF is this happens, okay? It rips. I mean, there's no strength in it at all, okay? Because I hadn't finished doing the main construction, what happened is it ripped out, okay? So MDF for this cabinet is absolutely no good at all. So I'm going to use the same joinery method, okay, so pocket holes, but this time using ply. And I know it works because these 2 cabinets over here were previously made with ply using pocket hole joinery, and they work fine, and so does that. Right, let's have a look at some dimensions and start cutting some material. Right, the first couple of cuts I've got to do are the top and the bottom, and then the two sides. Now obviously it's 1 metre wide, as I said, and it's 80 centimetres deep. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the top and the bottom, the two sides, but the sides are only 93.5. Anyway, that's my nice little cut list. That's all I'm going to do for now. And what I'm going to be using is, I'm not going to use the table saw because it's a bit unwieldy. I'm going to use my track saw, okay, with my track saw square, which I've done a video on previously, which is up here. Okay, this is excellent. It'll give me a nice right angle. I've already had this cut into 1 metre square, so I know it's 1 metre wide. Right, let me do some cutting. I'll cut the top and the bottom and the sides. Right, so now over there I've got the two sides and the top and the bottom cut. This is one of the offcuts which I'm going to use as a shelf. So that's going to be this bit here. Okay, now I've got to make sure that's deep enough for this, which is the laser I'm going to be putting in there. So let's have a quick measure, see how big that is. Okay, from there to there, it's got to be at least 63. Okay, now this is 64. Perfect. So I've just got to cut this one to the right width. Right, so I now have all my main components cut. This is all from 2 sheets of 18mm ply. Now what we've got to do is concentrate on how we're going to fix it. Now I'm going to use pocket holes, as I mentioned before. Obviously it was a disaster with the MDF, like this. Okay, but it should be okay with ply. I'll quickly show you what I'm going to use. Okay, so this is my trend pocket hole jig. I have done a video on this, so if you want some details on how this works, check out this video. I go into it in quite detail. I've set it up now for 18mm. So all I have to do is, now this is a back support. I'm going to literally use it in this orientation. I fit it like this. Let's fit it. Lock it in place. And then I can drill my pocket holes like this. Right, so that's those pocket holes done. As you can see, this is the top back panel. Okay, so you won't be able to see this. This will be inside. We've got pocket holes here. There's one that goes into the top, another two go into the top, and over here there's another one that goes into the top, and then those two go into the other side. Okay, you won't be able to see any of those from outside. All I've got to do now is do exactly the same to the two sides and the shelf. So I'm going to get on with that. I won't go through it with you. Let's just get on with it. Right, as I mentioned, this is my second attempt at doing this. Previously I made it out of MDF, and when I was assembling it, it fell apart. Now the reason for that was because I moved it before it was stable enough. So now this time I'm going to build it on the floor instead of up on my table saw. Okay, let me demonstrate exactly what happened last time. Okay, so when I was making it before, there's a little mock-up here. What I did is I did the top and the bottom and the two sides like this. Okay, I didn't put any structures inside, but then I had to move it. Okay, and then when I picked it up, I ended up picking it up and I had to turn it on its side. Now, of course, when it was at this point, it just did that. Okay, so that was a complete disaster. So this time I'm going to build it on the floor because it's so big. Right, let's start screwing some screws in. Right, so the main carcass is now screwed together. It's getting very heavy, so I want to get this shelf in and then get some wheels on it and get it on its feet. Now, where do I put the shelf? Now, this is the laser that's going on the top shelf. So all I've got to do is allow enough to clear the Z gantry, okay, including the pipe work for the air assist. Okay, so I think in this case, we're going to go for about 32 centimetres. So 32 centimetres from the top here down, and then that's where my shelf is going to go. Okay, so let me draw a line and then get this screwed in. Right, the shelf is in. What I want to do now is get some wheels on it. I've got a set of wheels here. I'll show you the hardware I'm using and how to use it. Right, so to insert these little fellas, all you need to do is drill a hole. I've already drilled one here, but I'll drill another one to show you. Now, how big a drill do I use? Now, using the pair of calipers, let's zero these. Okay, across there, it's about just over 7mm. So I've got a 7mm drill here. What I'm going to do is just quickly drill a hole. Probably into my bench as well. Then you just take these, and it's got an Allen key here. Okay, so I just happen to have an Allen key on an impact driver. You put that in the hole. Okay, so that's now inside. And then you can put your bowl in. So these will fit like this. Okay, and then I'll cut them to length afterwards. Right, so let's do that 16 times, once in each corner. Right, so I've got the first wheel on. Lessons learned, I think what I'll do is I'll cut these down first. So I'll cut one down, measure it, cut all the rest. It will save so much time. Right, so now all four wheels are on. Let's try and get it on the floor and see if it actually works. My God, it's massive. Right, so this is the front of the cabinet. Now the first laser is going to sit in here, so I can pull it out and put it on the bench if I need it. And under here, I'm probably going to have some drawers or something. I don't really have a plan, so I'm making it up as I go along. But there's just one thing I want to show you around the back. Okay, I've got this bit of a recess here. This is a back panel, adds a lot of strength. But the reason I've left this void is because at some point I'll have an extraction for my laser. Okay, so this is going to sit in here and the pipe work will come up here, but that'll be a separate video. Right, let's think about some drawers. Right, as you can see, it's now back on its back. I've had a bit of a change of plan. Now, initially I was going to have drawers at the bottom and a couple of doors at the top. What I'm probably going to do now is have 2 doors at the top and 2 doors at the bottom. Okay, and because I've got material left over from the first failed attempt, I can use that. So that's 18mm MDF. I may even make the bottom doors look like drawers. Basically, I'm making it up as I go along. But what I'm going to do is make 4 doors for this. Right, so I've had to leave this for a couple of days. We've had a major disaster in the house. We had a leak and I've also got a cold, but let's carry on. I've made the 4 doors, which are great, fantastic. Okay, but I've got a problem. I spent hours and hours trying to adjust them. I'd adjust them and then they wouldn't fit. Now I've got a problem. Let me show you what that is. Okay, so we've got the 4 doors here. They shut, okay, 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top. But the problem I've got, if you look at this, it doesn't quite line up. But it did. But then it didn't. But then it did. Problem is, the whole cupboard is so flexible. Let's hopefully you can see this. If I move one corner, can you see? Okay, let me give you a close-up. So obviously it's no good like that, because if the whole thing is moving around, I'm never going to be able to shut doors properly. What I'm going to have to do is inside, probably halfway along the bottom, I'm going to have to put a massive, great big support structure. Just happen to have a piece of MDF here off of the previous failure. I'm going to put that across the middle, and that will hopefully turn it into a box section, and it should rigid it up quite a bit. There's only one way to find out, and that's by to actually do it. So just go cut this to the right size, pocket holes, stick it in, screw it in. Hope for the best. Right, that internal support has made a massive difference, but it's still not really solid. When I was moving the cabinet around the workshop, because the floor is so uneven, it was actually twisting the whole unit. It's going to have to do for a piece of workshop furniture, but the doors are all good now. Okay, so let's make these doors look like drawers and let these doors look like windows. Right, the doors seem to be working okay now. When you move it around, because the workshop floor is not very even, they do tend to go out of line a bit. But once it's in its final place, that's fairly level, so the doors stay aligned. What I've got to do now is put some door handles on, which I think I've got some spare old ones. So I'll take the doors off, put the handles on, and then give it all a sand, and then a paint. So I'm going to do it the same colour as all this. Right. Let's get going. Right, so I'm ready to paint this. I've masked up the top because I want that to stay wood. I'm probably going to wax the top, but this is going to be the blue. I've got the doors here, all the doors. I've got to lay them out to be painted on the front and the back. But I thought while I'm at it, I might as well paint this, okay? Because obviously you're going to be sitting next to each other. Why not have them look the same? But it does mean I've had to take the drawer out and the keyboard drawer. They're here. But the profile of those is different than the profile of those. So now I've got to put a profile on those, which means now the workshop's going to get dusty again. So I'll probably do that outside. I've just quickly masked the top of this. I'm not even going to move my CNC machine. So all this side's going to be blue, and just round the edges is going to be blue. Same colour as all the doors. Right, so let me put a profile on these, and then maybe start doing some painting. Right, so the paint I'm going to use for this is the same as I've used on all the other doors. That's this stuff. I think it's called Tarquin Blue. The problem is this comes with an activator. Once I've mixed this, I've got to use this within 10 days. The problem is there's going to be too much in here to cover everything. So now I'm trying to find things to paint. So as well as the CNC machine, as well as this. So I'm also going to do this. Okay, so this is the mobile trolley for my bandsaw. So now my bandsaw is over there, and the other festival boxes are here. Right, so that. Let's just start painting, for God's sake. Right, so that's the first coat on the little doors, on the main cupboard. And then round here, we've got the other two doors. We've got my bandsaw trolley. And over here, we've got the CNC machine. All the bits that are going to be blue are blue. And then we've got the two drawers for the CNC machine. Right, I've got to leave that 6 hours now. Oh yeah, and I've got some handles. I painted those black. That should look all right. I've got to leave that for 6 hours and then give it another coat. Right, I'm going to go and have a cup of tea. Right, this is all painted now. It's had 2 coats. I've got no room to move here. It's all dry. What I'm going to do now is put it all back together again, including my CNC machine and my bandsaw. Then I'll put this cabinet together. So basically I'm going to do that and I'll get back to you in a minute. Before I go much further, I'm going to give the top a quick coat of this stuff, which is just some normal finishing wax. Okay, Rust-Oleum finishing wax. So I'm going to give this top just a quick coat of that, just to protect it, because this veneer is really thin. Right, start doing that. Right, so during the build, you've seen me cut this piece of Perspex. Now, this is a piece of coloured Perspex, okay, and it's going to go in this window here, or this door. Okay, in theory, the laser that sits in here could be used in here. It's going to be enclosed. I could put some extraction and I could use the laser in here. And that's why I've decided to put some of this. But this is not laser safe acrylic. Okay, this is just coloured Perspex. Let me show you closely. Right, so this is just coloured Perspex. It's got a 10-year guarantee, but I presume is just on the material. It's registered ISO 9001, blah, 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 but it doesn't say anywhere that it's laser safe. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use. It's not what you need to use. I'm waiting to find a decent source for laser Perspex, okay? I'm going to put this in for now. I'm just going to put it in with some double-sided tape. So don't copy what I'm doing, okay? I'm just using this. This is what I'm doing. It's your responsibility to find the correct coloured Perspex or coloured plastic for your screens, okay? Most of the time, the laser I'm going to use is going to be sitting on the top, okay? And I will be getting a different enclosure for that. Okay, so it's just a warning. Use the correct Perspex. It's your responsibility to find the right stuff. Having said that, I'm going to stick this in with some double-sided tape. Right, just to keep you updated here, I've added a couple of these magnetic catches for the bottom and the top doors, just to hold the doors shut, which is good. Work really well. Nice. Right, so that is it. It's been a very long video, I assume, because I haven't edited it yet. It's all done. Now what I'll do is I'll zoom you out and you can have a look at the final product. Okay, so it's all done now. What I'm going to do is get it over in the corner and we can have a close look. But I think it looks great. Before I stick it in the corner, a quick look at the back here. I've left this big void here. Now that should be for my extractor fan. Okay, so when I've got an enclosure on the top and for the enclosure that's in here, I've got an extractor fan and then hopefully I'll be able to duct that out. Also, I'll have a power bank here so I can plug in both lasers and my laptop all at the same time. Okay, so that's at the back. I will be able to access this by just pulling it out because it's all on wheels. So then I can actually get to it to service it. And also I can store some bits and pieces in here that I don't use very often. Right, let's have a look at the front. Right, firstly looking at the top here, this is obviously just normal 18mm ply. It's not too bad quality, but I've just waxed this. Okay, it feels very nice. I don't plan on sanding or working on there at all. It's just for the laser to sit on. Okay, and then underneath that, we've obviously got the top cabinet. Okay, the top cabinet obviously has double doors. In there, we should be able to fit a single laser. This is enclosed, so in theory, I can put some ductwork in there and actually run a laser with it inside. Okay, remember what I said about the perspex. Okay, if you're going to do this, get some proper perspex. Okay, right. The drawers that are not drawers. Okay, originally I wanted big long drawers, but that was a bit troublesome, so I've ended up doing the two doors. I think that's going to work out really well. I've got plenty of space in here. I think I'll put some of my power tools in there, so I've got a bit of ballast at the bottom. Okay, I've not painted inside, there's no need, but I think this looks really good. Obviously the handles are recycled, all the hinges are recycled, and the wheels were recycled. So the whole thing has only cost me 2 sheets of 18mm ply and a couple of quid for a couple of bits of perspex. Now that is a bargain. Right, that really is it. That's the build now finished. The main lesson I've learned from this is building something this big in this workshop is almost impossible. It may not look very big on video, but this thing is massive. Okay, it's all done. In theory, all it's cost me is 2 sheets of 18mm plywood. All of the rest of it, all the hinges, all the wheels, all the handles, I'd salvaged from elsewhere, so they were all free. A little bit of perspex, which only cost me a few quid. Okay, this is going to be a great benefit for my workshop. The added bonus for me is I've got my CNC machine painted and also my bandsaw base also painted. I'm going to get these all in position now, start using them, and then I'll start doing the pipe work for the extraction. But that's another video. So thank you very much for watching. Thanks for staying till the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. And you end up with a flat battery. Let's use this one. Painted, which is good, and also my bandsaw base. Something's just falling down. I'll show you what I'm going to use, and I'll show you the hardware I'm going to fix it to. No, that was wrong, because that made no sense. Right, so off. Oh. All right, so awful. Let's try that again, shall we?